Hello and welcome back to the Stitch Create Love YouTube channel. Today I'm going to show you how to work the Estonian Cast On method. This is the cast on method that it is suggested that you use in my first ever soon to be released knitting pattern, the Dance Like No One's Watching Cowl. It's very similar to the long tail cast on, if you're familiar with that one. It's a variation on that really. What you're effectively doing is every other stitch that you cast on, you're twisting it slightly, and then what it gives you is a really nice decorative edge. I've got my sample cowl here and you can see that you've just got the nice kind of decorative almost under and over edge to that, and it's really nice and stretchy, which means that it's easy to get the cowl on and off. So to begin with, we're going to set ourselves up exactly as if we were going to do the long tail cast on. So I'm going to take my yarn, and in order to work out how much yarn we need to have in our long tail for our long tail cast on, I'm going to take a little tiny tail first of all, and then I'm going to take the needles that I'm going to be using for my project, and I'm going to start wrapping my yarn around my needle. So I've got a little tail here and I'm going to wrap it round, not too tightly, 10 times. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I'm going to put my thumb here and I've got my other thumb here. Take your needle out, and then it's a bit tricky to do whilst filming, and then that is the length that you are going to need for 10 stitches. So if you're casting on 20 stitches, you're going to need twice that length, 30, 3 times that length, and so on. So for the sake of this video, I'm going to go with 30. So I've got 10, I've got 20, and now I've got 30. So this is where I want to be starting off with my slip knot for my long tail cast on. So we're going to make our slip knot first of all. So make a loop with your yarn, twist it round so that you've got an X here. Then put your finger and your thumb there to keep it secure. Take your long tail, bring it up through your loop like so. So you have another loop, put your finger in that loop, let go of everything else, pull on both strands just to tighten it up, and then you can pull on your long tail to make it tight enough to go onto your finger. What we need to do now is we need to pop our knot onto our needle, and we need to have our long tail, which is this one here at the back, and our working yarn, which is this one here at the front. So I'm going to pop that onto my needle, and then I'm going to use my long tail, which is at the back, just to pull it up nice and tight. And we're now ready to begin. So to work the Estonian cast on, we're going to start exactly as if we were doing a long tail cast on. So you want to pop your thumb and your index finger between your two tails of yarn, so your long tail at the back and your tail of your working yarn at the front, and then you're going to get your ring finger and your small finger and you're going to grab hold of both of those strands, and you're going to tension everything nice and tightly. So you've kind of got your ring finger floating about here in midair. So just make sure that everything is nice and comfortable. And you will notice that you've got your long tail at the back, which is going over the front of your index finger and then under. And you've got your working yarn at the front, which is going over the front of your thumb and then under. To make our first stitch, you're going to twist your thumb like so. You're going to pick up that strand underneath there. Then you're going to twist it back. You're going to pick up this strand here, which is coming over your index finger. You've got a nice loop here going over your thumb. You're going to pop that onto your needle, and then you're going to loose go with your thumb on the loop. You're going to bring your thumb back onto this strand here of your working yarn, and you're just going to pull everything nice and taut. And that is your first stitch on the needle, although of course now we've got 2 stitches because our slip knot formed our first stitch. Now, if you were working the long tail cast on, you would just carry on doing that. You would be twisting, pick up here, put your loop on, and you're going to carry on like that. And that is your long tail cast on. The only difference with your Estonian cast on is that for every other stitch, so on alternating stitches, the position of your thumb and your working yarn is going to change. So you're going to take your thumb out, you're going to take it underneath, and you're going to bring it back through, and that is your setup for your next stitch. So now you've still got your long tail at the back going over your index finger and then under, but at the front you've got your working yarn going under and then over your thumb. And we're just going to pick up our stitch very similar way. So we're going to go for this strand here first, so underneath. Then we're going to continue exactly as we did before. We're going to take this strand, we've got a loop on our thumb, we're going to pop it onto here, we're going to loose go of that, and then we're going to tension it to make sure that we've got our stitch. And there we've got our third stitch. So I'm going to show you that again. I'm going to do it in pairs for you. So I'm going to start off with a long tail cast on first of all, which is both my long tail and my working yarn going over and then under. So I'm going to pick up my stitch, so pick up here, loop on here and pull. Then I'm going to change my thumb position and I'm going to pick up here, I'm going to pick up here, and I'm going to pop it on and I'm going to tension it. Then I'm going to do my next 2 stitches. So again, I've got my yarn going over and under both my index finger and my thumb. I'm going to pick up, I'm going to pick up, I'm going to put my stitch on, I'm going to just bring it secure. Then I'm going to change the position of my thumb. So I'm going under and over. I'm going to pick up that strand and pop that on, and that is your Estonian cast on method. Now if I just show you here, what happens is that your stitches sit quite nicely in pairs. So when you're actually counting how many stitches you've got, it makes it a little bit easier to count. And if I show you underneath, you can see, let me just pop my finger under there, you can see you've got your bumps going under, over, under, over, and that is what gives you the really nice decorative edge for your cowl. So I hope you found that useful. I'm going to do a couple more for you just to show you. So long tail, we've got to pick up, and then the only difference is changing the position of our thumb. So we'll pick up here and onto there, and we'll pick up 1, change our thumb position. Once you get used to this, you get into a really nice rhythm of it, and this is the cast on method that I tend to use now for most things because I think it just gives a really nice decorative edge. So as I say, I hope you found that useful. I hope it was clear. I'm sure there are plenty of other videos online if you're still confused after watching this one. And if you really do struggle with it, then you can always substitute the long tail cast on method and just use that instead for your projects. Thank you for watching.